These CVs are extremely stuck in here. I'm just gonna completely disassemble this whole, everything that you see right here. We can get it all cleaned up. I'm not gonna do any Cerakoting or powder coating, but it'll make it nice and clean and shiny. So these guys are gonna have to soak for a while with some PB to get them to break free. We got everything else laid out outside. Here's how all the parts look. Quite crusty, greasy, dirty, disgusting. Let's give them a good degrease and pressure wash and see how they turn out. So we got everything cleaned up except for that one stuck axle. We got one axle out so far. Trans turned out really nice. Everything turned out fairly decent. It's all clean. It's not no NEMA spec. It's not blasted and Cerakoted and powder coated, but this is gonna have to be good enough. Good enough. I'm gonna work on getting that axle out. If we can get it out, that would be nice. We don't need to, but it would be nice. We got everything cleaned up, got that CV axle out. We just let her soak with some PB Blaster for a while and it seemed to do the trick. So this is every single part in piece I want to get back on the car tonight. It's getting late. I'm gonna run grab some food real quick, let the shop warm up because it's colder than freaking balls in here. This stuff is already like rock hard. It's probably not as hard as it's gonna get, but it's definitely hard enough to get this thing reassembled. It's so satisfying pulling masking tape off. All right, I'm gonna run and grab food. And then we're gonna get this thing back together minus the engine. First thing we're gonna get installed back into the car is the transmission. Let's go ahead and get this thing loaded up on the tranny jack, hoist her up. Start off with throwing in those two main cross member bolts. Definitely not an FRS tranny, Lord almighty. This is awkward. Yep. fans is in. Pitch stop is actually in the back of the car, and I don't really want to get it, to be honest. So it'll be fine like that. Gonna go ahead, slap the steering rack back onto the subframe, and then that assembly will go in. And I'll probably throw the sway bar on as well. I'm not sure if it's like an Evo. I guess we can look real quick. Sway bar will be easy to get on while it's in the car. So steering rack on subframe, subframe and steering rack into the car. From here on out, it's all simple light components. I'm gonna start off with the lower control arms, get those guys hanging where they need to be, slap on the hubs, slide in the CVs, coilovers, sway bar, that little guy right there, and then some sweet WRX brakes. Why do I feel like this is the wrong side? Probably because it is. The whole entire front subframe with transmission, driveline, all that stuff is back in the car and ready to go whenever we have a motor to install. I was about to move on to all the wiring inside the engine bay, fuse box. What else do we have? ABS pump, brake lines, but I really want to give it at least another 24 to 48 hours before we start messing around with the white paint on the car. I really don't want to start scratching that up, and I know it's still pretty soft. I could probably do it and be extra careful, but I'd rather just wait and let it dry properly. So with that being said, gonna wrap up the video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed. This thing's already coming along. So exciting putting this thing back together. It feels weird putting it back together, honestly, with not perfectly refurbished, restored parts, but every car in the world can't be fully restored. This is not the car for it. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow.